Hello, beautiful people of social media. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Phil from Yopa Reading. So today we're going to talk about something which is kind of overlooked, and it's something which I use with most of my sellers, and it really just helps. And it's something that's kind of a useful exercise because there's kind of costs that people always think about with selling houses, but then there's some other little ones that you need to add in, so you just, your projections of how much money you have all works out. So I'm talking about moving costs. Now, this is going to seem really boring, but trust me, it always helps. So when people move house, they think, okay, well, I just have to think about how much I'm going to sell my house for, then I've got to pay my mortgage off, and then I've got that amount of money left over. Now, fundamentally, that is true, but there's also some other ones that you've got to think about. So I'm just going to run through them. And what I'll do is I'm just going to put a little sort of like link about how you can find them out just under here as well. So they're just going to be down here. Cool. So first things first. Conveyancing, really fancy word for solicitors, specifically that you use to sell or buy a property. So you need them on two different areas. So you need a solicitor to sell your property, and then of course if you're buying another one, you need them then to do the onward purchase. So yep, you do got to pay them twice. So you need to figure out how much it's going to cost for solicitors to sell your house, and how much it's going to cost for them to sort of process you buying the next house. Now, one thing that we do at Yopa, which is really it's a big fundamental, and it's why I always recommend our guys to my friends and family, because they do what's called a no sale, no legals. Now, old school solicitors firms, what they're going to do is, say if they did 10 hours worth of work and then you went, oh, you know what, we're not going to sell this house, we're just going to rent it out. They're going to go, okay, well, that's absolutely fine, but we did 10 hours work, here's a bill. Whereas our guys, absolutely fantastic. They're Optimus. Been around for 14 years. We handpick them. Yeah, no sale, no legal. So if they did that 10 hours work for you and you went, you know what, don't want to sell my house anymore, they go, cool, no worries, take care, enjoy. Nothing to pay them. So look out for that. It's a big one with solicitors. Just make sure they're not going to charge you if the work ends up not going through. You're only going to pay them if the property actually sells and completes. That's a really useful little tip. So that's your solicitors, that's all your conveyancing. Right, then of course you've got, dun dun dun, stamp duty, which everyone hates, but everyone needs to pay for. Yeah, so what you want to do is, and again guys, this link, that's just going to take you through to, there's loads of places you can go to, but essentially it's a stamp duty calculator. So it's always based on, it's a tiered system, and it's based upon the price that you pay for the property. So it's always worth going on that, looking at that, and then just making sure you have that amount in your calculations. And then I always think there's so you need to have your physical moving costs. So what is it going to cost you to get a removal van or truck to come and get your stuff and take it from this one to this one? Because again, you just usually sort of forget about that. So I always allocate about £1,000 because you should be able to get it done for £1,000 depending on the size of your property. But I always sort of, as a projection, as a rough estimate, I put about £1,000 for moving costs. Then the other one, of course, is agency fees. So if you've got an agency like Yopa, so we do, fair fixed fees, it's a case that we'll be able to tell you how much you're going to pay. You're going to pay this much, cool, and you've got that in your projections. So that's another thing. If not, if you are working with an estate agency that's charging you a percentage system, figure it out based on the most that you might sell your property for. So if your property sells for the asking price, figure out, if they're charging you, let's say if they're being nice and they're charging you 1%, right, figure out, so say you're selling your house for 400,000, right, 1%, £4,000. But then remember, they're going to add VAT at 20% of that £4,000 on top. So that's another £800. So therefore then you're like, right, well, my agency fees then for a house that I'm selling at 400,000 and the agency is charging me 1%, it's going to be £4,800. So then that's your agency fee. Add that bad boy in. And then I always again project about another £1,000 for miscellaneous things you don't look out for. So say you're buying a slightly older property and you're like, right, I want a full structural property report, or you want a little bit less than that. You want your own home buyer's report from a RIC surveyor, the register of, that's hilarious, I can't think what that is now. The Register of Independent Chartered Surveyors. I think that's it. I do apologise, but RICS, they're the gold standard for getting your property valued, even though I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but that's okay. So yeah, you basically want to figure out all those costs. like every single one of them. So you've got 2 conveyancing, so 2 solicitors to buy and sell. You've then got stamp duty. You've then got physical moving costs, you've got your agency fees, and then you've got miscellaneous. So they're all in there. Now, once you have that, you know how much it's actually going to cost you to move house. And then you can build that into, well, if I sell for this much, my mortgage is this much, it leaves me this much left over. And then, of course, I take out those figures, which actually then means I'm left with this. And then arguably that's probably your deposit and maybe some left over for some home renovations, the new one you're moving into. But really super helpful, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it all out in the text underneath as well, so that then you can follow it and there's like an example. It'll keep it nice and simple. Any questions or anything, just let me know. Like always, guys, keep safe, keep washing your hands, keep your distance, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.